What's up, everybody? Look at Doug. He's all jacked up, man. Look at him, brother. Hey, man, we're
Yeah.
hanging with Mark and Dougie, man. I'm excited about the show. Got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. We're gonna get into it pretty soon. It was my birthday, man. It was my birthday a
Yeah.
couple days ago, and I donated some money to the Indian reservation. I thought it'd be a good thing to do, because took their land, so at least I could give them some bucks. So but we had a good time, man. We had a really good time. It was my 35th anniversary of my 21st birthday. So it was a special one. It was,
Okay,
it was the
good.
35th anniversary
Some
of my
quick
21st
math.
birthday.
Doing some quick math there.
Don't no quick math. I don't know. People know my age. I'll tell
Yeah.
you what. I don't want no more birthdays. That's the last one. No more. I'm done with them because I
Well, that's not
donate.
good because people that don't have birthdays anymore are no longer with us, Mark. So
Yeah, that's true
I-
too. But I just don't want to celebrate them anymore. Now it's just you're getting old, motherfucker, and no more. There's nothing to celebrate. You're just an old man. So yeah, that's what it is. Thank you, Donnie. Shake. So yeah, everything's good, man. It was my birthday, great, but blessed and everything. And I'll tell you what, interesting story that we're starting out with. We're gonna start on the stories right away. I've had a couple of these cards. A record-breaking Mickey Mantle 52 Topps card sold for $12.6 million. Talking about $12.6 million on a baseball card. I mean, I've actually had this card, but not the 12.6 million version. I was telling Doug I had a lesser version because of condition. This one's a premium because, in 1952, kids flipped cards. They put them in their bike spokes and they destroyed them, but these were kept in a nice condition. This is one of three that that they're out there. But 12 points, think about it. You can have a house on the beach, 4 Lamborghinis, anything you want in the world, or one baseball card. But I
Yeah.
guess for the guy that has everything, he wants the stat symbol of having this card. And like I said, I've had this card before, and I've sold it before, but never at this level. But
What's
the
the
market's great.
what's the most you ever sold that card for? The
$65,000.
ones you've had.
I had
Yeah.
the most I ever sold a 52 Mantle for was a PSA 3.5, and maybe it was a 4, it might have been a 4, and I got 65,000 for it, and that was several years back. That card now in a 4 is probably close to 100,000.
Wow.
I sold for 65. Yeah. But it's a card. It's funny because when I first got into this industry, I bought one for $2,200, and it was nice. Mine was probably a card that's about $500,000 now, but $2,200 it was, and it's probably $500,000 now. So the market's pretty strong. So if you have cards, you bring them to me, I'll buy them. But it's you might have this card. You never know. This card. The funny thing about this card, there's more of them out there than people know. It's just an iconic card because it's Mickey Mouse's rookie card, and it's the first year Topps came out. So it's the first baseball brand, and it's Mickey Mantle. So it's a combination, but it's not that rare for being that much money. So
I mean, how many
hey,
people you think have these? How many people you think have these cards just sitting around somewhere in an attic or some shit in a box? You know what I mean?
So I'll tell you a real quick story then, because we have a lot of stories, and I don't want to spend too much time on this. But funny story is, that you ever watch the show Storage Wars, Storage Lockers? Most of the time that shit's made up. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I did buy a storage locker from somebody that bought a storage locker. He went to the storage unit. He paid $450 for the unit, and he bought it because there was a couch. He does furniture, so it was a beautiful leather couch. But behind the leather couch was a box of cards, and there was a 52 Mantle in there. And I ended up giving the guy $51,000 for that box of cards. And he paid $450 for the whole unit, and that Mantle graded a 3. And I ended up selling that card for like maybe 18 or 20,000. But
Wow.
yeah, that was in a unit, and that happens because people die off, and sometimes the family members, they don't care about the units. They care about the house, the car, the boat. And, as far as they're concerned, there's bowling trophies in there and shit nobody wants. So they don't pay
Old love letters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's going on with you,
Crazy.
Doug? Talk to me. I know you've had a crazy week.
Yeah. I don't want to get drama here, but I've got a. If I look a little like under the weather, I'm dealing with something right now that I'm just it's taking the winds out of my sails. But we'll get through it. But other than that, I've been off. We had my brother-in-law's birthday. We had a bunch of family here and friends and neighbors at the house this weekend, and a lot of good food and all that crap. And another week off before I start doing comedy on the road again. So it's good to be home.
Gotta look at the positives in life, man. This, negatives will always be thrown at you, and you got to deal with them. But the positives, man, are always outweigh the negatives if you let them. So I hope everything goes well, and let's get on with this show, man. We're going to start out with student loans, something I never had because I went straight in the military, and I didn't want to burden anybody like people are getting burdened right now because I think, we'll talk about it a little bit. Well, how do you feel about student loans, Doug? That are getting, how do you feel
Well,
about this?
listen, it's the obligation, right? I mean, some people say, look, how dare, like, people are making the comparison with the forgiveness of student loans with like the forgiveness of PPP loans. And I'm like, well, there's a difference with the PPP loans. It was in a time of crisis, a global pandemic, number one,
Mhm.
to keep people from firing people and stuff. And there was a provision
Emergency.
of
It was
forgiveness
emergency.
in the loan. Yeah, and there was a provision of forgiveness in the loan. So you're comparing it. No one, when you signed a student loan, no one said, hey, there's going to come a day some half-witted twit is going to be the president and may write off your debt. I'm paying my nephew's student loan. I paid it down from like say 20 grand down to like 5. So I'm guessing it. But the problem is that it's a joke. This is a political move by Biden to like get the younger voters. Oh, look, he took away some of my student debt. But
And how many people would have went to college if they knew they wouldn't have to pay for college later on? I mean, it's funny.
that's the
I might
thing.
have, yeah, yeah. I
That's
probably
the
would have.
thing. People who are working everyday people that are working are paying, not gonna have to pay. Yeah, and I love these people on Facebook, like, oh, you people that are complaining, it's only gonna cost you like an extra $100 a year. Fuck you. We don't even know how much this is gonna cost. Half a billion, $1 trillion, over $1 trillion. So stop telling me
Think
what it's
about
gonna cost me.
And
How
how
much is it gonna
far back
cost me?
are
I
they
paid.
going alone? How far back are they going? How many years?
Well, if you still, well, that's the other thing. How could you have a student loan? First of all, if you paid it down from 100 down to 20, pay the thing off already for, what I mean? I mean, is it really going to help you to get 10 of it knocked off? I mean, if you had $100,000 of credit card debt and the government says we're going to pay 10,000 of it, is that really going to be helping? You know what I mean? It should stay individualistically to the person who took on that debt. That's the problem. Again, it's another enabling move by
And you're
the
getting
pandering
something. You
chief.
got something for what you bought. It's like you got some. You got a college education. Now you got a good job. Pay it off. It's like you got some for. There's other people that didn't get that. They didn't have the money to go to college, so they didn't get a chance. They're working at Burger King and McDonald's and all that because they didn't get a chance to get their student loan up given to them. So
Yeah,
I feel you get what you earn in life. I feel like you get what you earn in life, and you have to earn it. That's it. That's how I feel.
exactly. So, those of you, I personally don't think it's going to pass. It's not going to pass the courts because Congress holds the purse. You can't just give away $1 trillion of the American taxpayers' dollars because of
That we don't
because of
have.
because some muppet says he wants to do it.
And
You
we
know,
don't have the money. We don't have the money right now. We don't. So
no, yeah,
it's
not. He wants to. The thing that's great about this fucking president, he says, "I'm going to bring people together." And was it a few nights ago? He comes out and says, the GOP and Republicans are fascist. And he's actually going to speak. We're recording this on Monday. He's actually speaking on Monday night. He's going to have to do it. He's going to address the nation and talk about the threats to democracy. He's going to call out. He wants to get rid of the Republican Party. This guy. This is what they are trying to do. He's basically saying half of Americans are fascist. So, and then some people already talked about if they prosecute Trump, there's going to be fighting and there's going to be fucking issues, man. I mean, there's going to be some, there's going to be some fucking issues. And there's actually even people, Barry Dershowitz, the famous defense attorney, is actually telling the DOJ, hey, I don't know if I want to prosecute this. You're gonna send this country into a fucking flip, over nothing,
well,
nothing.
the reason why
So
they're going after Trump, they don't give a shit about Trump. The reason why they're going after Trump so hard, well, they really care. He's not even the president anymore. The reason they care is because he wants to run to be president. If Trump said tomorrow that he was not going to run for president, this would go away. Everything would go away. This is a
yeah,
bullshit thing to tarnish the name of a previous president. So he doesn't run again. And if he does run again, he can't be the threat. They know they can't get anything on, but they're trying to make enough tarnish on him
yeah.
where he can't get reelected. So it's that
Yeah, I mean,
simple.
how many things have they tried to hit him with, and everything they've tried to hit the guy with? I love the articles: may, could, possibly. Everything says possibly, could find, may find. But this was interesting. Aaron Rodgers, who you don't like very much, pretty much went on Joe Rogan, and he was like, he was making fun of, he was calling out Biden for who he was. He's like, he's an excellent president. He's an excellent speaker. He's an excellent. He's great at walking up steps. He said he's great at riding a bike.
And he's not a conservative person. I mean, he's conservative about the mask, but he's not conservative about a lot of things. He's got liberal views, and he doesn't like Biden, and that's coming more and more. And it's not that I hate Aaron Rodgers. He's just egotistical, and he's not a team player, and he's just not clutch. He's not the things that other players are, and he gets too much. If he didn't get as much uh, uh, respect and love by the media and everybody else, I'd probably like him more. But everybody puts him as the GOAT and the greatest, and it just bothers me because he's not. He's not. If people just said Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, I'd be okay with it. But people put his name with other names that they shouldn't put his name up there. He's not. He's
Yeah.
not the other.
Oh, I like Aaron Rodgers.
He's a good.
But hey, and it's glad, he talked about the mandates, the ridiculousness of it. He goes, they said, no person on the staff. Yeah, they'll have to get that. Meanwhile, if they get it, they won't be able to bring COVID to the, well, 4 or 5 people, non-players ended up getting COVID and bringing it into the fucking team, the Green Bay Packers. So, he was just pointing out that if you got to check out the Joe Rogan podcast with him on it, it's pretty good.
He's actually a good speaker, Rogers. He's a smart guy. Like I said, as a football player, I don't love him. As a person, I'm starting to like him more because I've heard him in different interviews. He seems like a great guy.
Yeah.
We shall see. We shall see. Talking about football, interesting story. You don't hear the story too much because it's a black on black crime, and we try to hide black on black crimes in America because they're not a big deal. If that was a white on black crime, it'd be all of the news. But this was kind of quiet. Poor guy. I feel bad for him. Rookie Brian Robinson. Almost drafted him on my fantasy team. I came close to draft him. I'm kind of glad I didn't draft him now. He got shot. I mean, the good news is I think he was shot in the leg, and he's not in critical condition. He probably will play football again, but he was getting carjacked, and he didn't have that expensive a car. I think it was a Dodge Challenger. I don't know. I'd risk
not just a regular one though. It was a Hellcat.
What's a Hellcat?
I don't
know if I'd risk my life for a Dodge Challenger, maybe a Phantom Rolls Royce. And plus you get, someone carjacks you and they got a gun. Take my car, man. Just take it. I mean, I can get another car. He got lucky. He got lucky. They shot him in the leg. If they would have shot him somewhere else, he probably wouldn't be alive right now. And I don't think your car is worth it. Especially with him. He's a football player. He's gonna be making tons of money. I mean, he has a big future. He's a young kid, and thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God he didn't get more damage, and he wasn't the carjacker. So if he was carjacking somebody and got shot, I'd be like, fuck him. But no, he got carjacked.
Can you imagine? Imagine guy plays for the NFL. He's jacking cars at the same time. But they said he fought back. He said he didn't want to give his car away, and he fought back. That's what caused him to get shot. And it's interesting because this just brings, this level of crime has become so organized. Like the other story I didn't pull up, but in Atlanta, they arrested like 6 or 8 people that were organized crime group that were going after like the members of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. They were going after high mark like people, like well-known people, house raids and shit, carjackings, fucking, Atlanta. Listen, Atlanta is a shithole. I mean, I'm sorry. There's so much fucking crime in Atlanta. It's just getting so lawless there that it's just unbelievable. So
all the crime in liberal cities, you know why? And they're all in liberal. If you think about it, all the Chicago, Detroit, New York. The reason why? Because the police, they want to fund the police. They don't want to put money into the police department. And the police aren't respecting. They don't want to do their job anymore. I wouldn't care if I was a police officer. Pay me. I wouldn't care. So that's the problem. These things don't happen in Amarillo, Texas. They don't happen in Amarillo. In Amarillo, Texas, you don't hear about this because you would be shot dead if you would do this in Amarillo, Texas. You'd be shot dead.
I mean, I'll say this: not only blue cities are the ones with the highest crime. There's crime spreading out. Like there was a story that I didn't pull up because it was just like there's a guy who got evicted from his apartment. And what'd he do? He lit the apartment on fire and started shooting people. He killed like 3 or 4 people, his old neighbors. I mean, out of spite, like vindictiveness is like, that's what I'm saying. This level of evil and thoughtlessness and lack of compassion for your fellow human being is higher than I've ever known. And that's what makes me cautious. And, with everything that already happened to me today and the shit I'm dealing with, that's why I'm in a fucking low place, man. I'm in a low place.
We're supposed to have compassion. We're supposed to have compassion for transgenders and all these confused people out there, which, I don't not have compassion from that. I don't care either way. But we don't have compassion for just everyday people. We don't have compassion for everyday people, but we have to have compassion for select groups of people, the 100th of 1%, which, I'm not harming anybody anyway, but I'm just saying, it's funny how America is set, it's crazy when you think of it.
I mean, who's going to have compassion for me if all of a sudden I'm stuck with a $500,000 medical bill now, because of some stupid shit? You know what I mean? Like, people are gonna have you're gonna go start a GoFundMe, for somebody because they got fired from their job and because they wanted to wear a dress and they're a fucking grizzly dude. And but me, he should, yeah, he's a rich guy. He book it, does the problem, no deal, whatever. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And that's at the times, like, enough of this feeling sorry for people that have made their own decisions in life. You know what I mean? Like in my situation, what's happening? I won't get into it. But would it happen if it ends up being that way? It's a fucked up thing, and insurance company's trying to fuck me. So, you know what I mean? That's what I got to battle with now. So an everyday guy who busts his ass every day trying to chase his dreams has got to deal with this kind of shit, and no one's going to give a fuck because it's not racial or sexual or anything else involved in it. So, what are you going to do?
Yep. I get it, man. I get it. It's funny. The other day, and this is how I feel about a lot of things. The other day, a guy, we were walking, and it was a homeless guy, and he was in his 20s, a healthy looking guy and everything. And I didn't give nothing. He was like, "Can you give me one?" I'm like, "No." And then I seen another guy later on at Publix, and he had his head down, wasn't asking for anything. He was in his 60s. He looked like he was a vet, man. He was just out of it, and he just didn't know where he was at. And I handed him a $50 bill. I did. And my girlfriend's like, "Why?" I'm like, "You know what? This guy, the young guy, has a chance. He's in his 20s. He's clean cut. He can do it. This guy's been through the ringer. He's not young anymore. He's not going to get hired easily. Who knows what his life has led him? Maybe, his kids left him. They died young. Anything could have happened. This is a young guy that can move and shake things out. He can get out of this mess he's in right now. He's never going to get out of the mess if you enable him. If you constantly give him money every day, he's never going to get out of this mess. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to go to the next step.
Well, and that's the thing. It's tough. I mean, listen, the old expression, pull up your bootstraps. That's easier said than done. I respect that. But that's the thing. That's the character that you have to have. I mean, like I said, I'm dealing with this shit today and I'm doing everything I can just to put a fucking smiley face on. So I know sometimes things aren't easy, but Mark's right. I mean, yes, there's some people that are just destitute. They have nothing going for them. They really have the hardest situation to pull out from. And there's other people that just aren't taking advantage of things. They're just lazy and they fucking don't know what to do. People make bad decisions, Mark, like this story. This happened in Tampa. Sheriff Honeymooner is among 176 people that got busted in a prostitution ring. Can you imagine you're on your honeymoon? You're not getting enough sex and you're on your computer and somebody solicits you and you're like, hey, we're going to go. You leave your wife's hotel room, the honeymoon suite, to go somewhere else only to get busted. I mean, fuck, what a bad decision.
Doomed from the beginning. Listen, I understand you're 8 years into the marriage and, things are sliding a little bit. I'm happily married, by the way, so that would never happen to me. But I'm saying I understand if you've been like 8 years, 9 years, you're in your fucking honeymoon, dude. It doesn't get any better. There's not a better moment for you and your woman on your honeymoon. There's no better moment. What's going to happen when you have a real issue? I mean, can you imagine on your honeymoon that you have to go out and get another piece from a prostitute? I'm glad he got caught. Fuck him. Seriously.
Yeah.
And I've always thought prostitution should be legal anyway. I think it's ridiculous that prostitution is illegal. I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. I really think prostitution should be. We should tax the shit out of it. And listen, is it a crime to want to be with another woman? I mean, if you go to a bar and buy a girl 5 drinks that comes out to $100 and buy her a steak dinner that's $150, or you give her $150, what the hell is the difference? If she agrees to it and you agree to it, my body. What happened to my body, my choice? We forgot about that one. We forgot about the whole my body, my choice, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know how many people are against it, except some of the religious aspects and the righteous aspects. But you're right; it should be legal at this point.
Exactly. But no, to end that story right there, that had to be the most embarrassing moment. That's why I would never go to a massage parlor. Not because I'm an angel. I'm an angel too. I know. But I wouldn't want to go because the first time I go, I'll have the SWAT team. With ropes coming down and everything. We got a 1043 right here. Oh, yeah. I'd be old news. The first time I did it, that would be the time it happened to me. So I ain't taking any chances. So that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, don't ever go with me.
No, I don't need it. I don't need to. And the funny thing about it is, like I said, the minute I do it is the minute where they decide to do a SWAT team on that place I go to. So yeah. We're not going to handle it.
That's what happened to this guy.
That's a funny story, actually. And that's got to be the worst feel. That has to be probably the worst feeling in the world. When you're there and you get busted and you're on your honeymoon. What do you say? Like, there's nothing you can say. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how I wonder how the new wife is feeling about that particularly. At any rate,
I
it's
wonder
the
if they
next
stay
story.
together.
I
Next
doubt
story.
it.
This story is kind of sickening. 10-year-old trans model with trans mother is set to undergo surgery at 16. Meanwhile, you need to drive a car. You have to be at least 16. To buy alcohol, you have to be 21, I believe. To gamble, you have to be 18. But to change and altering your penis and your body, you could be 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This mom needs to go to jail. She needs to go to jail. To okay
Yeah.
this without counseling and doing things, and you know that at 16 years old, you change your mind. I wouldn't get a tattoo at 16 because you could change your mind. How many times you
Yeah.
change your mind from 16, 17, and 18 years old? Forget about it. I changed my mind thousands of
Yeah.
times. Okay. To allow this to a 16-year-old is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I wonder if this surgery is they got money to have this surgery, or they have to pay for
Well. First of all, they're going to probably want to make the taxpayers pay for it. Number one. Number two. Yeah, it's like this isn't something. This is not something that's revocable. It's not like you can go, okay, I'm going to go through with it, and if I'm not happy, I want to put my dick back on. No, it's a there's you if you suffer from buyer's remorse on this one, you're done. So yeah, you may want to wait till you're 18. For God's sakes, listen, these things happen. There's people that have these questions about themselves, and I said, I have a family member that did it, transitioned, but they waited till they were 18. They waited, until they were, and that was it. And they're happy now. So, God bless. But shit, I mean, the parents, like I said, the parents that allow this to happen should also allow their kids to have power of attorney and be signed over as a health surrogate to the parents. I mean, if they're such responsible people, give them rights to your money and your life while you're at it.
Make a life decision like this at 16 is so ridiculous, and you're not allowed to do it in any other aspect. So why do it now? I mean, it's ridiculous, and the mom needs counseling. The mom needs counseling. Forget about the kid.
Yeah.
The mom needs.
Yeah.
The mom is.
It's like the dog whisperer. It's not the dog. It's always the masters of the dog that are the ones who have the issues. And this is one of those cases where you just have these parents that are just, fucking, I mean, come on, let support them, as they are, buy them the clothes that fit their gender, that whatever they feel,
How come this
but,
wasn't an
lay
issue
off on
20
the,
years ago, 20 years ago? How come this was an issue
yeah.
20, 30 years ago? It's all of a sudden becoming an issue where people have to be something else. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
sure there was something. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You know how many women, how many young girls were tomboys, and some of them transitioned, but for the most part, they grew out of it. They was just part of their brothers, or that's just a way they felt at the time. So, like my niece was my niece, and she was a tomboy. She played all kinds of sports and stuff, but that was definitely, who she was. So, now she's a he. So what are you going to do? Some of these people are just crazy. Like I said, people today are just lost their fucking minds. Like in this case, a registered sex offender in Florida was insistent on trying to buy a child off a parent for $100,000 in a
Wow.
supermarket. Police say
So I guess
kept
the
going
parents
back.
called the cops on him. Parents called the
Yeah,
cop.
yeah. I mean, the guy. It's not like I mean, the guy is like a retired guy. He's like a fucking old dude, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna give you $100,000 for your kid." Like, what? Somebody go, "Oh, you know what? I got to pay my student loan debt. Maybe I'll
Gonna
just have
laugh.
my kid."
I bet you there's parents out there that would actually sell their kid. There's stories out there that parents would actually. There's some sick fucks in the world. There's some sick individuals on this planet, bro. And I'm
There,
sure if he tried hard enough, I'm sure he would get one. And I'm sure it's happened
yeah.
before.
Everybody
The
has a
sick.
price, they say, right? Everybody has a price, and you're right. They're families, these scumbag families that they've been caught doing it. They've been caught like whoring out their kids. The
Yeah.
pedophiles and shit. They come to the house. Can you imagine your mom and dad fucking overseeing the shit? And then the problem is this is only getting worse, and there's so much shit that doesn't go reported. So then you wonder when these people grow up and why they're so fucked up in the head. Why do they pull out a gun and shoot 100 people in a fucking grocery store? This is why.
Because they
This is
parents
fucking
that
why,
sold
man.
them for $100,000. That's why they went mad.
Yeah,
Crazy.
fucking crazy. So God, unbelievable, man.
It's nuts. The next story we're going right along. The next story we have is good old Dennis Rodman. He decided he doesn't want to be a hero anymore. He was going to be save the day. Like he's got an ego and a mindset that he thinks he's actually changing the world. But Dennis, I hate to tell you, and I like you, Dennis. I've met you several times. I've actually drank with you. We've partied together. We actually have. But dude, you're not saving the world, brother. You're too dumb. You're not smart enough to save the world, bro. You're just not smart enough. You're not. I'm sorry. And I like you. I think you're a good person. You're just not smart enough. Let it go. Let her do her time. She'll be okay. We're not trading her for any mass murderers or any pedophiles or terrorists. Let her do her
Yeah.
time. Maybe she'll come back in 9.5 years. She'll still be young. Maybe she'll appreciate this great country I live in. This country that when the flag comes, I get goosebumps, and I put my I salute the flag because I love this country still. Even with all the problems we have today, I still love this country, and I'm still happy I served, even with all this problems we have today.
Yeah.
Not sure I would serve today, but I'm proud of serving when I did serve. And
Yeah.
Rodman, just you're not a bright guy. You were great at basketball. Leave it at that. And I know you want to get in the limelight. Put your dresses back
That's
on.
it.
Don't worry about North Korea. Don't worry about Russia. You only fuck things up. You can't make things any better. Okay, so just let it go.
Yeah.
You let it go. Good. Kudos. You did a good job. Let it go. Good job.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I think you nailed it when you said he just wants some limelight. He's out of it for a while. And obviously a guy like this paints his hair, fucking dress. This guy is just searching for attention. Went on all kinds of celebrity shows, where he's fucking horrible. But just it's time to me mosey on to the fucking to the prairie in the distance and retirement. There you go, Dennis.
Just enjoy your life, and you're like 60-something years old, man. Just relax, enjoy. He has no money. I feel bad for the guy actually.
Yeah.
He's not a bad guy. I seen him flying on Spirit Airlines. When you have 6 championships and you're flying Spirit and you're next to me and you have your seats and he's tall. His seats, things didn't go right in your life. You should listen. You have 6 championships and you're in the Hall of Fame and you're top 50 players of all time. You should have enough money where you're not flying Spirit. I fly Spirit because it's last minute, and I don't even have to fly Spirit, but I do because it's last minute and I save money. But Dennis Rodman does not need to be flying Spirit. He just doesn't. But he's broke,
Yeah, what are you going to do? It's horrible. Can't imagine him sitting in a Spirit airline chair, his fucking legs all up and shit. I don't even fit in there, and I'm 5'9".
Yeah, he's actually a super nice guy. He's really a nice guy. But
yeah,
he's out of it. He's not a bright guy. He's just talking.
Yeah.
He's not.
Well, here's an interesting story coming from Sydney, Australia. But Sydney nightclub bans staring without getting prior verbal consent. Sometimes you see that woman across the bar and you keep looking at her because you want to grab her attention. Maybe before you talk to her, you want to try to see if there's any type of, chemistry developing. Well, not in Sydney. If you start looking at somebody, they can they can hey, you have no permission to stare. You need permission to stare. How does that work?
How's this world going, man? The art of romance is gone. We have to write an email across the bar. I don't want to look over here, but I think you're cute,
Yeah.
Like, how do you meet a woman today? Like, seriously, when we were kids, that's what it was about, man. You went to the bar and if you seen a cross, you didn't look at him because you wanted to be smooth. But if you see you could see a girl looking at you. You could see it, and then you take a quick glance, and then you look over. But it was the art of romance. It's the art of meeting someone. But now with today's world, everything's sexual harassment. You could say you're pretty. What do you mean I'm pretty? Well, in what way am I pretty? Police, he said I'm pretty. Like, what the fuck is going on? Poor women. I feel sorry for a normal woman because the art of seduction and the art of romance is gone. It's completely gone.
Yeah. Yeah, there used to be remember years and years and years ago, I think we were just in high school, there used to be a bar in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, that had phones. And if you like somebody, you'd call the table that they're at. Yeah, a long time ago on Commercial Boulevard. I wish I know what it was, but that's what it was. You had phones in every table near the bar, and hey, I see you over there. But of course, there's going to be guys. There's going to be a lineup of guys that are getting kicked out of the bar because they're staring at chicks, And you can imagine you're looking at a girl, and then she looks over and you're like, I don't fucking know. Yeah, everybody's going to be like, that's stupid. Look.
If you're being like weird, if you're being weird, I get it. If you're like staring at somebody like weird, like a serial killer, I get it. But if you're just like a cute little glance, yeah, exactly, like, But if you're like if you you got a little napkin, right? that I get. Exactly. that could be over the line. But a quick glance,
hey, baby.
I think he likes me. Yeah.
You think that guy likes me? I think so.
That's the funniest thing. If you ever see guys like that, the funny thing is, Doug, I'm laughing because I have had friends that are actually like that. I've had friends that are like so coarse and a couple of them, and the girl's like, "What the fuck is wrong? You get out of here." Oh, she's a lesbian. No, she's not a lesbian. You're just a retard.
Yeah.
Bro.
And sometimes it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes it works. Guys like that get, it's a numbers game. They, every once in a while you find that cuckoo one's like, look at that guy. Look at that guy checking me out.
Exactly. Well, they say it's a numbers game. If you do 20 times, you'll get slapped 19, and one
Yeah,
time you'll hook up. So if you can take the beat
yeah,
in the first 19 times, you're doing good.
yeah.
If you can take the
Real,
rejection.
real players exactly handle the rejection. That's the difference.
Exactly. But no, that is ridiculous. And you know what? I can see that happening here. Because I can see that happening in Portland. I can see that happening in Seattle. I can see that happening in Frisco. There's places I can see that happening in the United States. And it's got to be hard. I've always said it's got to be hard to be a celebrity, and it's hard to be a woman in general, because even celebrities, you meet a girl and you don't know what's going to happen if you guys get intimate. You don't know if she's going to say, she's coming to you money like, Deshaun Watsons and Kobe's and all that. I mean, I'm sure there's some guilt on their part, but I'm sure it's not as much as you think. A lot of these
Right.
girls are money hungry, and there's always a prize. There's always a pot of gold on the other side of the rainbow that they're trying to get. So it's got to be tough, man.
Exactly.
It's got to be tough. It's got to be tough. Yeah. That being said, man, we're going down the stories. The last, not the last. Oh no, still we have a couple more stories. The next story we have is our favorite people, Antifa. They show up to
Yeah.
a family-friendly drag show with AR-15s. So I thought the left were against guns, AR-15s. Weren't they? Or aren't they against
Yeah.
AR-15s? So Antifa's left, so I don't know how that works. And
Yeah. Well,
why do we need AR-15s? We don't need AR-15s to attend for our businesses or our houses, but we need them to defend transgenders. For my business and my family, I don't need AR-15s. They're not
yeah.
important. But to
Yeah.
defend transgenders, we need AR-15s. When that
Yeah.
one kid killed those people, Kyle Rittenhouse, defending property, defending himself, that was a crime. He should go to jail for 1,000 years. But
Right.
but transgender is a whole different thing. We need machine guns. We
Yeah.
need army. We need tanks. We need lots of tanks for the
Yeah.
transgender. It's very
We need. We
important.
need.
A lot of things go
We
wrong
need.
there.
Yeah, we need missiles and all kinds of things to protect the drag show in Texas. Um, listen, it's the funny thing is when you look at these people, we pull out the story. These Antifa members look like they're 5'5" and they weigh 140 pounds. The gun almost weighs more than them. Very, very. It's a joke. I mean, when you look at somewhat trying to be intimidating, and it's just, it's just again, it's this. It's where we're at, and it's very concerning that this is the world we live in. Um, but I mean, they're in Texas, so I guess they're trying to say, look, we don't know if somebody, these red, the Republican crazy bastards are going to come in, but that's what happens when you have a president that's calling Republicans fascists and dividing our country in half. That's what happens.
I mean, not for
Um,
anything. It's been. I mean, what's the name? The Wilton Manors is right down the street from me, man. There's never crime there. There's never a crime. Wilton Manors has got to be the safest place in the world. There's more transgenders and gay people celebrating every day, naked, running around in Wilton Manors all the time. They don't need it. This is just a ploy, another ploy. And you know what? I don't know how people aren't outraged about this. We're outraged
no.
with AR-15s when we're protecting things you should protect, but this is ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous. It really is.
I mean, there's part of me that's pretty good because the kids that are there watching the drag show are going, why do we have to have armed little Muppets guarding this thing? What's wrong with what we're doing? So that's interesting to look at.
Well, the problem is
Um,
these young kids don't know any better, and they have young minds, and it's kind of sad that we're actually pushing this agenda. And that's what bothers me more than anything. The biggest thing that bothers me, if you want to do this over 21 years old and you want to be a transgender party, do it. That's okay. That's okay. Do what you want to do in life. Life's short. Life's short. Do whatever you want to do, but stop pushing this shit on kids, bro. Leave kids out of this. Seriously.
yeah,
If you want to push
yeah,
this on adults, that's fine. I'm a grown man. I can say, fuck you, get away from me. Okay? These kids, leave them alone. Leave people's kids alone, man, because you're fucking these kids up, bro. We're not going to have any more John Waynes anymore, man. There's not going to be any more tough
well,
kids. There's going to be a bunch of pussies. Kids
yeah.
going to be a bunch of
No
pussies.
Charles Bronsons. No
You know what's
Charles
funny?
Bronsons.
Not to get off the subject real quick. I got the new Fire Stick TV where you get all the channels and everything. It's awesome, by the way. And I'm hooked on all these old movies, man. Like I'm watching all these like Three's Company because it's so wholesome and people are so good to each other and so caring and so there's no agenda. There's not like it's this and that and there's always an agenda today. They can't make a good movie anymore because it's got to be an agenda. You got to have so much of this, so much of that in it, and so much of this. You got this much content in it. They just can't make a good movie. So, I'm starting to enjoy some of these older things, man. I think in my
Yeah.
older age, and I'm becoming. I like the old. I always said to my dad. My dad used to tell me, that music sucks, and I feel the same way now as an adult.
Right. Yeah. So I guess you didn't watch the VMA awards this weekend.
No, no desire,
um,
no desire.
well, listen, the kids today are crazy because here's a story. New York wants people to show ID now when you have to get whipped cream. You want some? You want to get
What?
some whipped cream for your ice cream or your pie? Well, now when you buy whipped cream in a store in New York, you got to show ID because all the kids there are doing whippets. You know, you
Yeah, but
sucking in
whipped cream,
the
if you buy whipped cream at Publix.
yeah, like you buy the
Oh,
whipped
not
cream,
the
the whipped cream,
okay, yeah, yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
CO2 thing. You suck it in, and
Who did that?
you're
Who
doing
did that?
whippets.
I used to work
Yeah,
with
I know,
Dixie.
but
Back room. I used to go in the back room. There'd be no. Everybody had the whipped cream. There'd be no air left in it. We'd be in the back. Every single case would be in the back. But it's so funny because all it does is give you like a 4-second high, bro. It's like, oh my,
yeah.
okay, I'm okay now. It's like, yeah, whippets are the dumbest thing in the world. The dumbest thing.
Yeah, well,
Ridiculous.
kids are doing it. Kids are some of the dumbest people on earth right now we have here in our country. So, thank you. Now we have to get carded to get whipped cream to put on our girls' titties because somebody's doing whippets. So
That's
there you
funny.
go, and that's
That's
it.
crazy. No, we have one more story. Oh no, we did that last story. We did it, guys.
Yeah,
Man, the show went by quick, man. If you guys get a chance, man, watch, share, and just get on our page, man, our YouTube page. It's simple. Subscribe. It's really easy to do. It gets us more viewers, and we've really got quite a few viewers now. We started out when we first started doing the show. I looked at an old show. We had like 40 viewers. We're up to a couple thousand now. I think the last one we had like
yeah,
29 views, almost 3,000 views. So the word
yeah.
is
That was
getting out there. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah. Definitely took no. It's having to do on our fan page on our YouTube channel. Actually, on my channel, on the Wake Up Late with Dougie show, I put the the just a minute clips, and it's on our fan page on Facebook. Just a minute, and we got a lot of responses back to that one we did. Trying to remember the damn thing now from the last show
Oh,
we did, but
we did one with Biden when I had the mask on, and then we did
right,
another one. We did a
the
couple.
the
I got
last one, the last ones we did were very funny. Yeah. So go to that and check it out, and you'll like it. Join our fan page.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we do it every 2 weeks. It's not hard to do. I mean, it's something to get your mind off life for about a half hour, and we try to make it light. We try not to make it all politics. We try and put a couple interesting stories in there. We don't want to put too much of one thing in there. We try to make it a little potpourri of everything that we have. So, it just watch, enjoy, and share. We're not going to do it forever if you don't watch and share. So it's free, guys. So go ahead and do it. And Dougie, what do you got going on? What's going on? Any good shows coming up?
Like I said, I'm going to be relaxing this week, staying home. Next week, I'm going to be at the North Carolina Comedy Festival at the Idiot Box on Thursday next week at 9:30. If you're in Greensboro, North Carolina, on Wednesday, the next week on Wednesday, I'm going to be at the Next Door in Greensboro, participating in the North Carolina Comedy Festival. So go to that and just come
Nice.
out if you're in the Greensboro area. Come out to the Idiot Box and come out and see the scene. There's shows all week for the North Carolina Comedy Festival. So enjoy it.
Awesome, awesome. And I'm open 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, man. I love what I do. If you guys have anything interesting, like I said, you might have one of those mantles, man. 52 mantles. See if you have it. Any baseball cards, comic books. I buy Rolexes. I buy Breitlands. I buy gold. I buy silver. I buy anything of value, antiques, old toys, anything you have of value. Come see me. Come bring it in, man. We'll give you a free evaluation, and we'll give you a price. We'll pay right on the thing. We don't play around. We show you what it's worth. We show you on the computer what it's worth, and we're usually around 60 to 70% of value. We make a little bit, and that's about it. It's that simple, man. Come check me out. I'm at 418 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach, and come check me out, man. That being said, enjoy what you do, man. Just don't stress out in life, and you know what? Enjoy the rest of the years you got left on this planet. Everybody, peace out. Doug, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
See you then.